Hi, everyone. Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekend System. And I'm glad to be here each and every week to do these Auto Shop Success Lives in 15 minutes. And I do them for a couple of reasons. The first reason is for you to shift your perspective, your vantage, if you will, the way you actually look at your business and turn that into a competitive edge. Many people are living in the moment because they feel like they're going 24/7 and they don't have time to do that deep dive or even that view, that 30,000-foot view of their business. So that's one of the reasons why I do these, to help you do just that. The second reason is for you to take one action item away each and every week and implement it. The magic is in the doing. You can listen to me, you can listen to someone else, read a book, go to a presentation. But then if you go home or just go back to the same old, and you don't do anything differently, you're not going to get any different results. So the magic is in the doing. You have the power to do that. And it causes a ripple effect in your business. It doesn't take these massive changes. So most people, when they meet me, they say, Marianne, who do you work with? When they start learning about me, it's a common question I get asked. And I work with single location auto shop owners. This is a group that I really admire and respect. And many of them are in what I call owner overload. They feel like they have to be going 24/7. Their business is consuming them. And that's not what they originally signed up for. I'm not saying that they don't mind, work. They have a great work ethic, but they also want to have a life and they feel that they're sacrificing their life. So they want to have that successful business without sacrificing their personal life. And that's where I come in and I help with 3 Day Weekend System. So today's topic, if you find it valuable, please share it with another shop owner that you know that it might be able to help, right? You see something that maybe they're struggling with. The topic today is 24/7 identity trap. And when we go 24/7 or we feel like we have to go 24/7, it is a trap. But we don't see it. We don't see it at the time and we don't realize that it is one, or we're in that trap, I should say, right? So, do you ever notice how people introduce you to others? They'll say, "This is so and so, whatever your name is," and they own an automotive shop. You know what? You can call them anytime. They're always ready to help. Great, great, great people, great team. And you kind of smile and nod because it's true. You've built your reputation on being there whenever needed. Your phone is always on. If it's not your shop phone, it's your cell phone. You answer every call, you respond to all the emails, and you're proud of being reliable. That's what you call it, right? But here is the uncomfortable truth: being available 24/7 isn't just a habit anymore, right? It stops being a habit because over time, it becomes your identity. And that identity is keeping you trapped. It is keeping you trapped. It's worth repeating because let's go into the real cost of running your business this way. There's the business impact. Your team stays dependent on you. It's really hard for you to empower them. No systems get developed because you're always there or you're a phone call away. Your profits are actually limited by your time because now you're thinking about how much you're available instead of empowering others. You're putting the responsibility on you. And growth actually is capped by your availability. You have to be there for everything to grow, for the business to grow. So if you're not available, the business doesn't grow. And then there's the personal impact of this, which is your relationships can suffer. Your health takes a hit. Mental exhaustion. I can't tell you how many shop owners I talk to where they feel that tremendous weight on them and they're exhausted. Lastly, lost family time, whether it's family, friends, organizations, causes that are important to you, you lose that time. And you always have this excuse or this reason where you say, well, when I get to this point in my business, I'll be able to do this. When I get here, and it really is a challenge. So your family stops making weekend plans with you, including you in them, because they don't know if you're going to be around. They don't know if you're going to show up. You check your phone during dinner, just in case. You may have a no cell phone policy at the dinner table, but you're the one that breaks it because, well, just in case. And the excuse or the reason is work. Someone may need me. On vacation, if you're fortunate enough to get away, you're mentally at the shop. 25 years I've been a shop owner. And let me tell you, in the early days, this was definitely my husband. Even some of the vacations that we had were cut short. And lastly, you feel guilty when you don't answer a call or you don't respond to an email right away. You feel guilty, like you're letting somebody down. So here is what really is happening. And I want to be clear with this because a lot of times those reasons that we give are really excuses. You've actually trained everyone, including yourself, that your value comes from being available. Your value comes from being available. If you're not available, then you don't have value. That's what you've actually trained yourself and everyone else to think. But being consistently available isn't leadership. It's a security blanket for you and your team. So these are some signs that you're trapped. Pride in always being available. Pit in the stomach when you miss a call, right? Or you wonder what was going on or what they wanted. Did it go to voicemail? You define yourself by shop emergencies. Here's what I took care of this week. Oh, you're not going to believe what happened. It was a doozy. That's how you define yourself. You can't remember your last uninterrupted dinner. You can't think of when you had a dinner or even if you were going to go out, that plans didn't get changed or, there was some kind of interruption. You can't remember when that didn't happen. So the thinking behind this, the strategy that I want to share with you today is start separating your identity from your availability. Your shop needs a leader who builds systems. That's what your shop needs. That's what your business needs. Not a superhero who's always on call, who's always putting their cape on and running in to save the day. We have to start thinking about building systems to empower others. So breaking free from identity, from this shift, what we want to do, I want to give you some steps here. The first one is go from I handle everything to I build systems. So switch that identity. The next one is go from always available to strategically available. You're going to decide when your hours are and when you're going to be available. And you're going to decide what happens when you're not available. Go from the emergency responder to the emergency preventer. Instead of being reactive to everything that's going on, you're going to be proactive and you're going to plan. So some practical actions that you can take. Track every after-hour call for 5 days. So track that. What patterns do you notice? What's happening? Who are those calls coming from? Figure it out. Write down what could have prevented each emergency. When you think of all of the things that happen in your shop, write down what could have prevented it. Was it a breakdown in communication? What was it? Is it the setup of the shop? Is it a process? And then pick one type of call that you're going to stop answering personally next week. So these are the hours that you work. And when it goes beyond outside of those hours, think about that. Pick one type of call. And it may not necessarily be a call, it could be an email, but I'm using that as an example. Because the truth is I can share with you some examples that I've seen over the years. These are real life examples. One owner that I know, depends on who you ask. If you ask the husband or you ask the wife, he'll say, I just made it to my daughter's graduation. His wife will say he missed the graduation. He did see his daughter graduate, but it was because a customer's car wasn't ready and he had to finish the car and get it ready. And everyone was so stressed over this, except for the customer. And here's the thing, the customer's car could have waited. It wouldn't have mattered if it was done a day later. You could have put them in a loaner. You could have got them a ride. You could have got them a rental. There were so many different ways that you could accommodate the customer. The car could have waited. But the memory of that graduation and the prep and everything before, the photos, all of that, that you can't replace. And it's a story that he keeps living through all the time. Another owner that I know developed high blood pressure at a very young age, at 40. And they were he was so stressed. And his wife was the one that really encouraged him to slow down. But he was really stressed. And what he was doing was he was fielding every single customer complaint, every single customer concern. It was getting directed to him. And with some processes and systems in place, it really made a huge, huge difference. And lastly, a client, the relationship was really struggling, suffering because of the business. And it wasn't the business. He felt it was the way he was handling things. And he had to cancel their anniversary dinner. And that was kind of like the last straw. And he said, I have to do something about it. And again, after working together and bringing some clarity, everything did improve, and they understood where each one of them was coming from and how important, their feelings were. So it made a huge difference in the business and the life. And the reason why I tell you this is because these are real stories of how this can affect a business. They're uncommon stories. I hear similar ones all the time, every day. So in every one of these lives that I do, Auto Shop Success in 15 minutes, I share a 1-week rule. Go week by week and take action now, because the magic is in the doing. Don't try to change everything at once. If you're listening to this on the replay and going through or making a note, pick one small boundary and stick to it for 1 week, because that's what this is about. It's about creating a boundary. Maybe it's not answering calls during dinner or answering calls after 7 p.m. or going into your email and get lost in your email. Whatever it is, just change one. That's it. Make one change. And lastly, I want to leave you with a pro thinking tip. The most successful shop owners aren't the most available shop owners. They are the best at building teams and systems that handle issues without them. So your shop success should come from your leadership, not your availability. So that's it for this week's Auto Shop Success in 15 minutes. I'm glad that you were here. You have any comments, you're watching on the replay, I'll respond to all of them. And have an enjoyable week.